if you're always angry, you will get a liver problem.
This episode, I'm sitting with a Professor Ke, the Chinese doctor in London.
I'm a very old-fashioned doctor. I said, let's go back to the basic. We never say what can cure you. We said help.
So today, we bridge this gap with Professor Ke. Let's listen his theory and philosophy about the Chinese medicine in the Western world.
If you can find a good Chinese doctor like me in your area, or you come to me, it's your luck.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you a favor. Could you hit the subscribe button? You know, it's not easy as English is my second language and I'm from China originally. It means a lot for me and helping the algorithm to reach out more audience who is interested on the difference between East and West. Thank you so much for your support. Welcome Jojo's Cross Borders. Thank you so much, Professor Ke, to join our show today. What do you think, what is Chinese medicine in your view?
Chinese medicine, in the broader view, is how we treating a human body or as a person, try to help this person to manage the life, to prevent illness, or if there's any problem, to treat it, to enable the body from inside self-healing. So in other words, Chinese medicine is not simply a medicine. In fact, it's a way of life. It teach people how you should live healthily and how you should do something if there's anything not right or not perfect. So therefore, this involved, first of all, is Chinese medicine, how should you live the people? Say, for example, because we have this concept, people in different age and different place, in different environment, have a different kind of type of influence by outside. The food advice, this is part of Chinese medicine.
Right.
Thirdly, we have to treat people differently, accordingly.
Individualized.
Individually, and also even timely, means summer, winter, it's different. So therefore, when we talk about the treatment, really Chinese medicine, there's no real treatment. It's what we call improve or promote self-corrections, or in other words, healing. So we want to promote people can self-correct, and that's the treatment. You know, if you have headaches, so if the body can balance it out, and then if you change it, and the headache will better by itself. This is about the Chinese medicine.
You mentioned about Chinese medicine is to figure out like what's going to stop to getting deteriorated, like prevention. Can you explain more about prevention?
Well, first of all, now, when we talk about treating the illness, so the best way is prevent the illness. So that's why we said prevention is better than the treatment. So any illness can always be prevented because nobody born with cancer, nobody born with dementia, nobody born with Parkinson's. But otherwise, this baby will never be born, be dead baby. So therefore, any person, if they're born, normally as they grow up, they're normally quite healthy.
Yeah.
And slowly, by various of things, cause them not healthy, either environment, or food, or emotions, or stress, lifestyles, or many things, etc., etc. So therefore, now, when we talk about the prevention, so that's the Chinese doctor. But then, we Chinese medicine have a very much more specific, is what is really healthy way to prevent illness for you individually. You know, in Chinese medicine, we say in our body we have two windows. We see through these windows, we see our body. Eyes are the windows of spirit. If you're happy or not happy, we can see from the eyes. You can't hide from that. If you're sad, I can see your eyes. Tongue is the window of a physical body. So we can see, healthy or not, the tongue is a very unique organ because it's the only organ which is inside, we can see from outside.
Let's talk about Western science medicine versus Eastern medicine, TCM philosophy.
The ancient way of Chinese diagnose illness in those era, for example, 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, we don't have scientific way of looking.
There's no science back to
we
2000.
We don't have blood tests. We don't have any tests. If somebody have a diabetes, we don't have a test. Your sugar level is high. But by the way, we do have a clever way to do it. Talking about the diabetes, diabetes is too much sugar, high sugar in the blood. Ancient China, how did we diagnose people have this diabetes? Because diabetes is a long time in our Chinese medicine book, we already recorded. In fact, the diabetes diagnosis in China are very unique. We collect patient urine.
Yeah.
Okay. We put it on let's say on the floor.
Yeah.
We put ants, live ants.
Oh yeah.
Around that. If the ants go to eat this urine,
that means sugar.
They have sugar. If the ants run away, no sugar. So that's why Chinese we call diabetes. Our name is sugar urine disease. This is a way of Chinese way of look at things. Of course, other way, many ways. I don't want to say we are the best. No. West medicine, West science development is great. Now the test blood sugar thing is great. But again, doesn't know means all what we do look at tongue is wrong. It's not wrong. Chinese people looking tongue, like me, I learned for many years. I teach my students all over the world. They think it's a fantastic skill to know what's going on in the body. Too.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't want to argue. I'm not anti-science. I'm very for science. That's why all my family are scientific doctors, professors.
As you mentioned, that's So let's talk to the TCM with the mental health. So could you explain to us why anger, fears, all the emotions that affect your health? If it does, which part of your organ it shows?
Now, first of all, in Chinese medicine, we always look at a human body or human person, human being, as a whole. When I say whole, means there are many aspects of humans, because we have a physical body such as your bone, your skin, your heart, your organs, your heart, liver, lung. This physical body, but we do also have emotional body. For example, your feeling, your emotions. Sometimes you're happy, or you're angry, or you're anxious. That's two things of the emotions. Now, emotions, mental activities, is very much part of a human being. This is a very much, in fact, even so-called science, very difficult to explain. Why some people get angry, why people get more fearful, why people get more anxious. So all these things, in fact, there is a very subtle link between our emotions and the body. But in Chinese medicine, we have to look at what link with the human body. It was emotions, physical body particularly. So we do have a lot of a theory, such as, for example, we said our heart is very much involved with joy, with love. Our liver, very much emotion with, depressed or angry.
Okay.
And our stomach, very much linked with anxiety or with this sort of a worry. So, and the kidney with very much fearful, threatened, or with very much sort of become sort of emotionally controlled.
Closed down, yeah.
So all these things, we have a lot of a theory on that. So therefore, if somebody comes to me, doesn't matter whether you are physically conditioned or not, I always observe mentally as well. So we take that into the part of our, data to form diagnosis. And also I will help them how to help by helping their body physically, emotionally together. So that's why the real Chinese doctor treating both. Everything in Chinese is called both way.
Yeah.
So that yin can affect yang, yang affect yin, and yang. So it's both way.
Yeah.
So if our body have a problem in certain organ which affect emotions, but if somebody have too much that emotions can come back to affect the organs. So if you're always angry, you will get a liver problem. So that's why if the family, husband and wife, always fight, after a while, that family, either wife or husband, liver, stomach cannot be good.
So you say liver and stomach, they related?
Yeah, in Chinese we call them liver and stomach are working always very much closely.
Okay.
So we call them liver is wood in terms of 5 elements. The stomach is earth.
Is that means like the gut health, including the liver?
Now that's about another thing. The gut is also linked. That's why the body says whole unity.
Yeah.
The gut, yes, is part of the stomach and also very closely working together with liver and also with kidney. But of course, so nowadays there's a new theory. It's like the guts, the health inside, especially bacterial balance, or it's like in another brain. Indeed, this is a new discovery of
the gut
new
is our
theory.
second brain.
Indeed, our human is so complicated. That's why I say with so much we know so far, but there's so much more we don't really know. So including the gut. So indeed, yes, the guts very much affect our other organs, including liver, kidney, and then further to heart, to lung, to many things, which then affect our whole emotions.
Yeah. If I get depression, and then I'm in the anxiety tablets for a while, and then I feel difficult to get rid of it.
Sure.
So how the Chinese medicine can help?
Well, first of all, we need to also obey the law in this country, because the herb Chinese medicine, we are not so recognized by the Western or medicine authority. So you cannot just say to people, yes, you stop all your antidepressant, take my medicine. That's not good. People sometimes can be suicidal quickly. So we want to be very careful, very lawfully, to legally advise people. If you are on Western medicine, keep going with your doctor or psychiatrist or whatever, and then come to us. We will work in different from other angle. So make it from help your liver, your stomach. So change the chemical balance. So therefore, maybe the balance of your head, your brain will be better, and you're less depressed. And how? You come to me first. I will see which part of body is out of balance. Whether you have liver, we call it qi stagnation, or too much fire, or too much heat, or your stomach or something too much damp. And then we will do something accordingly. Maybe change your diet. Say, for example, many people have too much damp. I said, please drink more ginger tea. Add more ginger in your food. If somebody have too much phlegm in the body, I said, please drink some more orange peel as a tea. If somebody have too much heat in the liver, I said, please drink more chrysanthemum tea.
Some people accuse Chinese is a poison, Chinese medicine or the herbs. So I know the background, like a Chinese medicine being questioned by the Western society. What is your view?
Well, first of all, I must say, when we call it Chinese medicine, especially the so-called herbal medicine, you know how we in Chinese, why we call it medicine, why we call it food. In fact, in ancient time, everything is eatable. Yeah. So all these things, if you list them, line them up. So the safest ones, we call the food.
Yeah.
Less safe ones, we call the medicine. Completely bad one, we call the poison. So therefore, in fact, that's all relatively.
Yeah.
So the food, for example, rice, apple,
yeah,
ginger, we call them food because they're safe. Some medicine, for example, some like say, let's say orange peels, or some, let's say, echinacea. All this medicine. So we call them medicine because they have some
their functions. Yeah.
They have a bad reaction if you take too much. So that's why we don't take them as a food.
Yeah.
You never take orange peel as a food.
Yeah.
You get a problem.
Yeah.
So, and the other ones can be very poison, but for some purpose. But in Chinese people doctor, when we use medicine, we take all this into consideration and we give medicine to you, and then it's safe because we know that's what exactly you need. Anything you don't need is a poison.
Yeah. So the right amount is the individualized, and also that's the it's called formulation?
Yeah. No, it depends on what you use. For example, let's say talk about it every day. Let's say coffee. Coffee is a food. It's safe. But if you take 10 cups of coffee a day, you will be a serious problem.
Yeah.
So therefore, Chinese medicine, safe or not, broadly is safe because we are mostly herbal based. So we use something very carefully, especially as a doctor uses them. We put into your body. I will control the dosage. The medicine and the food, there's no really black and white line. Say this is the food, this is medicine. No. In fact, the Chinese rice is a medicine too.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Rice is a medicine. 我们叫谷芽. So the
sprout,
the sprout of the rice is very good for children in digestion, especially to younger babies. Garlic is a medicine.
Yes.
Ginger is a medicine. Orange is a medicine.
Can I ask you one more question about the kidney functions?
Yep.
I mean, from the little background knowledge, being an Asian, I understand that kidney function is very important, and that affects like women, the fertilities,
Yep.
and for men it's the same. Like if you have too much depressions and fears that affect your kidneys. Can you explain a little bit more about what is the kidney function and how to be healthy?
Okay. Indeed, kidney in Chinese medicine perhaps is one of the most important organs. This because the kidney also working very, very hard. So that's why we need two kidneys working in turn. And the kidney, what it do in normal Western medicine, they know is produce urine. So like a filter to clear toxin. People don't understand. In our body, if you don't have a bowel movement for 1 month, you're fine. But if you have a urine for 1 day, you will die.
Oh, wow.
So the urine is so important. Why? Because the kidney to clear toxin.
Okay.
So therefore, the kidney, not only this is function, clear toxin, but also kidney in Chinese medicine have more than these urine things. They controls, for example, men and women's sexual energy, fertility. They also control the brain. That few sounds wild.
Oh, the dimension is because of
many of the people don't know. In fact, lots of brain problem with kidney, like dementia, Parkinson's disease, or serious depression, or feel always dizzy or imbalance, and this kidney problem. And also connect with ears. People have a tinnitus,
ringing ear,
deafness is a kidneys. And the kidney also linked with skins. If you have a bad skin, I can see there's a kidney problem. So therefore, even kidney affect the heart, because the kidney affect the blood pressure, can affect the thickness of heart, like cholesterol. So the kidney is so important, apart from the control of urine. I tell people how to control your diet. Certain things affect kidney. I tell you how to do certain exercise.
Such as?
Well, for example, if you do running, always it's like you're running like a treadmill,
like high performance,
hard exercise. I said no, that's not good for kidney, because it's too much sweat. It's not good for kidney. If somebody say, even talk about sex,
too much.
No sex. It's not good. Too much, it's not good. How much is good? Well, that depends on your age. So that's why I tell people. And then medicine, food, drink, so many things advice. So therefore, that's why the kidneys both are so important. So that's why people don't realize. In Chinese, I have to say, ultimately, if a man die, or even a human die, it's because the kidney completely gave up.
Well, you just mentioned about if you're doing too much sports, you're sweating too much, and then that's damaged your kidney. So I have a lot of friends that are professional athletes. So they are sweating, and the high intensity is their job until they're maybe.
Well, I don't want to say too much for them, because I don't want to say anything bad for them. So finally, after all these things, I will give them the tips how to eat certain food, help with kidney. Or if not, I will give some medicine for them. Or give some plants that making soup, making food for them. In our world, that's why Chinese fundamental philosophy is yin and yang.
Yeah.
So everything, the both way.
Both way. More yin and more yang.
Yang affect the yin, yang affect the yin affect the yang.
And then they
too much things the both ways.
They both
so
and
so
they're changing.
Yeah, there's no way one way street. Always both way. So therefore, this is another philosophy we must understand.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Professor Ke, for your sharing. And then remember, Chinese doctor it's a luck. Finding the right one is the must. Every treatment can't be the same. It's for you. That's what we want to say, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for today.
Pleasure. And all the best for everybody listen.